This is Justin AMZN on Wednesday, January 29th, 2020, looking at the 5-minute, which was a bullish retest gap today. So we did actually get up right around our pivot, ran up real quick, came right back down, right on through, just crushing right through it. Made a high wave candle really right on top of the price that we closed yesterday. This looks like a bit of a double bottom with high wave candle, high wave candle, high wave candle, high wave candle, making the bottoms of the double bottom. Not really a clear neckline. I mean, maybe back up at the pivot, and it didn't really break out. I mean, this was a really nice false breakout, and I was watching this thinking, oh, that looks like it's going, and let's see how far it can go. And it just lipped above and then just came right back down. It's like, oh, maybe it's going to roll over. Nope, another high wave kind of candle, hammer-esque sort of candle here. That bounced. So it was just a choppy day, really choppy. Let's see if I can draw straight tonight. We just kind of made some higher lows and some higher highs until we ultimately put in a stair step that did not continue. It didn't keep moving higher. It actually broke down right here. It didn't stop right at our pivot to bounce, which it shouldn't have because it already broke down the stair step. It just continued lower, then retested, and then went lower. And then after hours, if I can scroll, after hours we're down a little bit more, right after hours, and then it recovered. So we're right back up at this pivot after hours here. Just looking at the day, it was a really challenging day to be trading, just with earnings after hours tomorrow. The high wave candles here were kind of the best signal. It wasn't playing it off of a pivot though. That was the issue. If you're playing off the pivot, really this looked like the stair step that we got the other day. This stair step. Let me go back to this. It looks similar to this stair step where we're right here, really close right here, and we break out. It just didn't get the nice carry on, the continuation, carrying on through that pivot. And I'm sure some folks were trapped here and then got stopped out because this is a great place to put a stop. So like we talked about last night that, we had this inverted hammer here, this inverted hammer here, and it doing two different things. Well, we got the stair step yesterday here that worked on the breakout. And then we got a stair step here that was a trap. Little stair step right here, not as clean, a little more range on it with the lower wick on this one. But anyway, if we look at the options down here, I mean, the high wave candles here did give you some opportunities, at least for a retracement back up to our pivot at 1863.84. So looking at the calls, we're at the 1900 calls. They're much more expensive. You got a high wave candle puts in a lower low, waiting for the second of the double bottom, the second bottom of the double bottom. You could have been buying within this range. So buying at 1850 by 1750. That would have been a quick flip back up to either 1950, maybe 20, because this is just about where that pivot is at 1863.84. It came back down again to 1850 and then bounced, and that ran up to 2050. That would have been 2R on this move. But it looks like it could be rolling over here. That's what I was just saying. This looks like it could have hit the target and now it's rolling over, and continuing lower. Well, it didn't continue lower. It actually bounced, give you yet another opportunity to buy at that 1850 price. And that one actually worked out a little bit better. Let's say somebody did that, buy at 1850 and you hold the 2R at 2050. It chopped around quite a bit, did end up making it to 2150, but this is not something I would have been looking to trade here when we're so close to the pivot. I would have been looking, with how quickly this moved through, going bearish, this price, the 1863.84, I would have been looking for a rollover here. And I wasn't getting into this. Like I said, I really wanted to see it interact well with a pivot to play it. And I did not like how it broke out and then was breaking down. It's like, this is just really choppy. This is going to trap some people. And it was definitely a trap. The other thing I noticed on the daily that I was just talking about, and I'll explain this channel in just a sec. I was just saying we have not traded through this price except for this candle going bullish and this candle going bearish. Otherwise, we've just wicked through this price range. Well, now today we actually traded through this price range again, similar to this. Now, we didn't trade all the way through. We didn't, we just have a close right at yesterday's high. So it is definitely a retest. It's a really nice inverted hammer right at a pivot. If I had to guess, I would say we'll open up around 1863.84 and push down again, just because it looks like this. To me right now, it looks like this is the signal saying, okay, it's ready to break down from this head and shoulders that I was talking about yesterday. If it does that and we get a bearish day tomorrow, it really sets the stage well for a gap down being faded bullish, or a gap up trapping bears here and trapping all these bears. If we can gap up to 1925, we'll just run. So to me, that makes it look more like Friday could be a really bullish day. But I need to see another bearish candle tomorrow. If we get a gap down and a rally into earnings, or if we gap up and rally, I mean, a gap up would be trapping people here, but we've seen that bullish gap and goes have not worked too well. This was a bullish retest gap. This was a bullish gap and go. This was a bullish gap and go. They've faded. So if we get a bullish gap and go up here tomorrow, I would anticipate fading back down and end up with a bearish day. That's somewhat what I'm looking for Thursday, Friday. So that's kind of my skew a little bit. It's kind of what I'm looking for, a little more bears to come in tomorrow and push this down going into earnings. And we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, so we looked at options. There wasn't really anything going on with the puts, or with the with the puts here. The 1750 just wasn't working out too well. I didn't look at the 1800. Let's see. Real light volume through here. Yeah, nothing really significant. For the calls, I was looking at the 1900. 1925 are just, the volume is way too light to do anything. The 1950, it's a little less expensive. Usually the price range I'm looking at somewhere close to 10 or under 10 for some of these early in the week. We did put in a nice low right around 7 here. So this was the double bottom. But each time it only pushed it back up to about 8. Actually, here it didn't. It took buying at 7 here and then holding through this, and then it got to 8. You're just so far away. You just got to kind of scalp it. And so maybe you only scalped half an R or 3/4 an R because it pushed up to this level and it didn't get back up to this level. It didn't go all the way to 8 and went from 7 to 775. So that's just the challenge with this week and trading options that just aren't moving too much, aren't giving up that premium. So anyway, back over to the daily. I was just I've got enough of these magenta lines on here that I was just trying to find something that interacted well with earnings, or at least would maybe not just earnings, just kind of help set some framework that I hadn't really been looking for. So we've been making higher lows through here, including earnings, higher lows through here. I'm sorry, higher highs through here. And I'm like, okay, let me just draw this in. And it fit really well here, and it fit really well here. And I'm looking back, and where I actually put the point was just on these. But I'm seeing, oh, that really holds these lows pretty well and holds these highs. And that was earnings, and holds the lows through here and kind of gets some price points through this. It doesn't really work too well prior to that. I mean, there's a couple candles it interacts with, but I primarily drew it looking at, this range. Oops, how I moved it. I primarily drew it looking at this range and looking at this range, because we've had kind of an upward slant, but I hadn't really drawn anything in. So with this in here, I don't know that it changes much of anything. Just looking at this price point, if we do gap down, so let's say we gap down here to 1747, that could be, about the same distance below this channel we gapped down for earnings last time. And, pre-market or after hours, whatever it was, right after earnings was announced, it was way down here. No, it was way down at at 1618. It was way, way lower. We could do that same thing. We could have moved down to 1715 or 1714.50. We could even have a move down to 1665. And by the time the market opens, maybe it's back up here. I don't know. But if we have some sort of big move down, I mean, it's still possible we'll get close to this channel. And if we get close to this channel, I think it's possible that we could get back into it like this did. And then for this earnings, we actually broke out of this, and it looked like it was going to be a continuation, but then it came right back down the next day. Do I have my dates right? Let's see. This was... No, I don't. Okay, sorry. This was the Thursday. Earnings was this night, and it opened up down here, right back within this channel. So we were looking like we were breaking out, and obviously I did not have this channel drawn in, but we ran right into that resistance. Looked like we were breaking out above this candle. People probably thought earnings were going to be great. It was going to be back up here, and instead we're back down, trapping people, and it was a nice inverted hammer, but it just went sideways. Pushed down a little bit lower to that channel, and then recovered, came back to the channel, broke out, and then we danced around right on the top of this channel before breaking out further. So I'm trying to rethink, what have we done? And I even tried to do this. So again, I don't know that this, I think it carries some weight just because we've followed this kind of angle for so long, but I tried to do this to see, okay, if I had this here, would it have helped me up here at all? Maybe a target for both these moves, but we got a little bit higher, and then came right back down to it. So I don't know that this would have helped. I didn't really look left to see. Well, it actually kind of lines up with this and this and this nicely. So anyway, I guess that's another angle. I need to go back and get rid of some of these magenta ones, just because these have. I was trying to see if one of these lined up, and the closest I got was this one that I had drawn. Try to grab this one, duplicate. Just want to drag it over here. I was just noticing that this was a similar range. It's like here, from this high to this low for earnings, and then basically from this high to this low. I think it was pretty close from this high to this low. So I was looking again here. It's like, okay, from this high, nope, we're already past it. It didn't work. But it could have helped through here, give us a target back down lower after we thought it was breaking out. So I was just trying to find something at this range, but I don't know that these are as significant anymore. They started to really break down over here, or didn't really guide too much. So I got to review those and clean up the charts more, and see what we can do. But, with spending so much time down the 5 minute, I like having these longer term ones because it's giving us some good levels to interact with. But kind of a general uptrend here, when we get going on these quicker rallies here, we're seeing this kind of thing be boxed in, and it works all right. Works actually pretty well. And then trying to take that framework to the next one, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I think this one that has more hits may actually be a little better just with this uptrend. We'll just see what happens with earnings this week if we interact with that or get out of this channel. But definitely paints a framework that you could use to have some targets. Let's say we had drawn this back here. Now, it wouldn't have been as clean an angle. You would have needed some of this to line up the highs. Then if you had these lows, you could probably say, okay, well, I'm going to have a target down in this area. Once I get up here, when I'm breaking down, I want to have a target down in this range because I should get there according to this, this range, this many days. So hopefully these lines would help, make some more educated trades directionally, and some more time if you're doing some swing trades. So day trades, I don't know if it would have helped as much. So like I said, that's why I have so much going on that you can see on the 5 minute. And we're about ready to get rid of this downtrend, but we'll see if we interact with this at all with earnings, and then we'll decide what to do. So anyway, hope this helps. This is Justin, AMZN. Thanks.